Performance Toyota. Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota.
High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Well, hello, Butler County High School sports enthusiasts. You're dialed into another live radio broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network. This rendition of Friday Night Lights takes us to the Village, Viking country. It's New Miami hosting Miami Valley Christian Academy in a Miami Valley Conference contest at John Merrifield. The Vikings come into this one simply on fire, 6-0. The Lions, on the other hand, are searching for their first victory of the season at 0-6. I'm Chris Vogt. I'll be leading the way alongside Joel Sackenheim, who is writing a two-game color commentary streak for the report. Joel, welcome to the Village, brother.
My longest winning streak in a while here, Chris. A lot of good memories here in the Village from back when I used to be a CYO basketball coach. I remember coaching against my own dad and my own sister right here in New Miami's high school gym, Morgan's 8th grade year. We went to double overtime in a first-round tournament game. So,
good time.
first time I've been back to the village since then, but it's very nice to be back in town.
Well, you mentioned CYO. There's probably going to be a little bit of similarities in terms of what you ran in offense in the CYO offensive scheme of things. We're here in New Miami. You're going to see a little bit of rendition of some CYO football action in terms of their formation.
You're pulling us from CYO basketball to CYO football now, and Coach Malone will probably be proud of what he sees out of Coach Hubbard's New Miami Vikings. A little wing T action. Their quarterback makes it all tick. That's Trey Robinette. And actually, believe it or not, in the Miami Valley Conference, New Miami, with all the rushing attempts, does not have a top 5 rusher in the conference. They do have a top 5 passer and a top 5 receiver, so they are at least running a little bit of play action out of that as they go.
Right. Well, and on the other hand, Miami Valley Christian Academy is looking to close out the rest of the season on nothing but improvement on their end of things.
Well, certainly if you have a team that's 0-6 and struggling, Chris, you're going to end up looking for diamonds in the rough. You're going to be looking for things to build on for the next year. One thing that Miami Valley Christian Academy, I noticed about 3 weeks ago, they played North College Hill, and they only lost 27-21. They're certainly going to be looking to stay in the game as long as they can and try to make it as competitive and build for the future for this Lions program.
Well, we're set to kick off here at John Merrifield. Number 5, Tucker Allen, is going to be kicking off for Miami Valley Christian Academy. Moving from left to right, right to left on your internet radio dial will be New Miami. They're wearing their all-black uniforms with green numbers and white helmets. And there's the kick. Return. I'm saying it's returned at the 5-yard line.
It's open.
Yep, and it looks like it's Jordan Robinette. Jordan Robinette brings it to the left side. He gets past the 50-yard line to the 40. And pushed out at the 35-yard line.
Wilcox, the kicker, actually forced him out of bounds. The rain has started to come back down again, Chris. It had been not raining during pregame, but it's coming down again. We'll see how this affects New Miami's offense as they get this thing rolling to start the game. But so far, brilliant kickoff return.
Well, you won't need to do too much offense now.
Oh, my gosh. They got a 30-yard field they're facing. That's great.
We chatted with Jesse Hubbard prior to New Miami warming up. We will hear what he had to say here in just a moment, but New Miami gets the start at the Miami Valley Christian Academy 35-yard line.
30-yard line, Chris.
30-yard line.
30. All this mud's making it hard to see the lines.
Right. I can't wait to see some mud flinging up.
Oh, my gosh.
One of the only Butler County fields that you'll see mud flinging from the
Madison still have it?
Yeah, Madison does. Hand off to Jordan Robinette to the right side. Full house backfield, if you saw that, Joel.
5 yards rushing right off the right tackle there. Easy does it for New Miami.
Joey Vogt saw New Miami take care of Gamble Montessori in the season opener. Joey was definitely impressed with the way they were able to kick things off on a positive end, and they've been on fire ever since. Full house backfield again. Trey Robinette hands off to number 12. That is Donovan Howard, and he does it. Like you said, he goes nowhere. That's a no gain. 3rd down and 5 at the 25-yard line. Reached the 11-minute mark of the first quarter here in New Miami.
David Hill was the defensive end there for MVCA that got some penetration, got in the backfield. Not a very big dude. The entire defensive line, it's very interesting looking at. They got a couple of very short, scrawny-looking dudes. They got a very tall guy right in the middle playing nose tackle. That's number 63, who's not on our roster, it looks like.
Uh-oh. Flank right, but Trey Robinette's dropping back to pass. A little dump-off pass to number 42. And that's Dylan Spivey, and that's going to be a first down, Joel, down the left sideline. And I'm thinking that's going to be likely goal to go.
We're looking at 1st and goal here for New Miami, and that was a nice little floater pass. He just kind of dropped it. I've seen Mahomes make that pass like in the NFL. He just kind of floated it right over the top and dropped it to his big tight end. There's Spivey on the play. We're at 10:30 left in the first quarter.
Well, I'm telling you what, New Miami definitely going to be able to utilize some of those play-action passes running that full house backfield.
It's there.
As a little pooch snap there that Trey Robinette's going to end up taking it up the middle. That
was Cox, the kicker, also playing defense here. We're going to see this a lot, Chris, with Division 7 football. virtually everybody's going both ways. I saw only about 19 guys on Miami Valley Christian Academy's roster. You look at the bench over there, you see about 4 guys wearing white jerseys that are in street clothes, maybe the injured reserves, and about 2 guys sitting out there otherwise that might be ready to come in. Can't afford too many injuries for the Lions tonight.
Second down and goal to go at the 7-yard line. Trey Robinette under center. Handoff up the middle to Spivey, and Spivey's going to take it into the end zone for a touchdown, New Miami.
Right up the gut with the fullback dive.
Dylan Spivey puts New Miami on the board early. 9:46 left to play in this first quarter. And I tell you what, I was going to joke around with Coach Hubbard, looking at Trey Robinette's kicking duties, and unfortunately, I believe he's less than 50% on those kicks.
Gosh.
Go for it.
If that's your odds, but they're going to look like line up with Trey Robinette to kick it here. Let's see what they happen.
Snap, hold, kick, and you push that one to the right, Joel.
Little blast in the pass. That's a straight-on kicker toe-balling it.
Yep. I don't know. Maybe that might be the reason why. Well, we're looking at 6-0 New Miami over Miami Valley Christian Academy. 9:46 left to play in this first quarter. We're going to take it into our sponsors. You listen to Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
We'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsors. Performance Soda, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4 at Performance Soda. Our proud Performer of the Week sponsor. Matandy Steel and Metal Products, an official sponsor of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, who is partnered up as our Performer of the Week gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, providing professional images for your local high school athletes. SuccessPhoto.com.
Hey, this is Mid-Miami's Austin Hart, and you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Welcome back to John Merrifield here in the village of New Miami, where it's New Miami 6, Miami Valley Christian Academy nothing. A 7-yard bulldozing run by Dylan Spivey puts the Vikings up on top. And there's the kickoff. Left to right is New Miami Valley Christian Academy.
Nate Beckham on the return here.
And a big old cluster. Big old cluster on the return. I don't know if they were just holding him up or he just wasn't wanting to go down.
That looked like one of Jenna's soccer games from about 3 years ago. They played bumblebee ball on the soccer field with everybody around. There were about 22 bodies on the field, and about 19 of them were in the scrum. A little rugby.
Right on. MVCA is going to start this drive at their own 31-yard line, 1st and 10. Now, Miami Valley Christian Academy is starting out with that spread offense. Looks like a pistol formation here.
4 wide receivers.
Yep. 2 to the right, 2 to the left.
There you go. Balanced formation there. Oh, fumbled it. Look out.
Hand up in a fumble, and number 12 is going to fall on that ball for New Miami, and that's going to be Donovan Howard.
That play was doomed from the start. Snap to the quarterback. Fake a handoff. Running back was running past, knocked the ball out of the quarterback's hands, and it squirted along this wet ground out into the open space where there was absolutely nobody other than Howard to fall on that ball for the Vikings.
Yeah, I was thinking Will Cox was looking to deliver that handoff to one of his running backs in the backfield, and unfortunately slipped out of his hands, and
absolutely nothing there.
New Miami taking over at the Miami Valley Christian Academy 32-yard line, and a quick pass at DeAndre Duncan, and he's gone, Joel.
That was easy.
Well, and I'll tell you what, New Miami is notorious for those quick strikes, quick plays, kind of similar to what Fairfield does. Fairfield is not a let's make some time come off this clock kind of offense, to tell you that much.
Well, they had a full house backfield with double tight ends, only one wide receiver out, but they were way back in the coverage of the wideout. It may have even been a smoke read there by the quarterback just to see it, recognize it, take the snap, and just give a quick slant, and he was loose. I mean, nobody can't catch DeAndre Duncan.
Trey Robinette to DeAndre Duncan. They've connected quite a few times, and Trey Robinette's extra point is up. And he got this one through, Joel.
How about it? A straight-on kicker in 2019. I love it.
Bringing us back. 13-0 Miami, New Miami over Miami Valley Christian Academy. That's going to be a tongue twister for me tonight.
MVCA. You ain't lying.
Hang tight. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Hey,
This is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll.
Hey, this is New Miami's Trey Robinette, and you're listening to Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Welcome back to New Miami, where it is New Miami 2 quick strikes, and they're up 13-0 over MVCA.
If you don't count extra points and kickoffs, Chris, we've had 2 touchdowns on 3 plays for New Miami.
You're right.
And the other play, they didn't end the ball.
Making that return is Nick Beckham for the Lions. Brings that ball across the 20-yard line of their own, and they're going to start this drive at the 23-yard line for Miami Valley Christian Academy. Joel, and I think one of the things you got to look at here for New Miami is that they've got a smothering defense. You know, you're looking at their points against 62, and you divide that. That's a little over 10 points a game. You look at their points for, and they're blowing it out of the water. I'm not going to try and do the math there.
227 to 62 over the course of 6 games. Take out 35-0 if you don't count the landmark Christian.
Wilcox handoff up the middle. Nothing going there. Smothering defense at the line of scrimmage, Joel. That's going to be about a yard gain for Miami Valley Christian Academy.
Well, they went from a fumble and turn of possession to a 2-yard gain, so it's a progress, Chris. You know, you definitely like saying that if you're the Lions.
Well, that was the exact same play that they fumbled on.
Yeah, that time they converted the handoff there instead of having that confused, do I hand it, do I not hand out, whoops, there goes the ball.
Ryan Conklin is actually a little bit behind Wilcox. Wilcox gets that snap and hands off to Ryan Conklin up the middle. He's going to get about, we'll call that 4, Joel.
Keeping the ball on the ground, keeping the clock running. They got to try to stay in this game as long as they can. I believe the running clock, if we get to a 30-point margin, only applies in the second half.
Right.
So we'll play out the entire first half and see where we are at halftime, and then we'll see what happens there.
3rd and 4 at the 28-yard line is Miami Valley Christian Academy. We're reaching the 8-minute mark of this first quarter.
Chris, I've never, ever been a fan of the running clock as a rule of thumb, but I would say as I'm looking at MVCA's sideline there and only seeing not a ton more than 12 players dressed, you know, maybe for Division 7 I might rethink my theory on that.
Right. Back to passes. Wilcox tosses it. It's intercepted by Deonta Duncan, and nobody's going to catch him if he's going to actually get through all these defenders there. Miami Valley Christian Academy became defenders there on that interception. He was weaving and dodging through them.
Wilcox had 2 receivers on that route that were essentially running the same route. I don't know if the ball slipped out of his hand or not, but he certainly overthrew both of them and right into the hands of a waiting Deonta Duncan. That's the last person you want to be throwing the ball to if you're Wilcox.
Boy, he looked like Pac-Man.
Lightning.
It was. He can, especially on this non-turf field, Joel.
How about it?
He can actually make a beeline in a click of a dime.
I'm curious with these Miami Valley Christian Academy white jerseys, how many of these jerseys are going to have brown mud spots on them by the time we get to the second half of this thing.
New Miami wearing black. You won't see much.
You won't see as much on there. They came prepared.
Wing T formation. Pitch over to the left side to number 7, Jordan Robinette. It's a little spin move, weaving and dodging through some defenders, and he gets down to the 1-yard line, and I don't think he quite made it there, Joel.
I can't believe he got as much as he did on that. It looked like he was stone cold. Miami Valley Christian Academy had defenders there on the outside of him, turned him upfield, and he was just too fast for him as he turned it up and slithered his way all the way down to the 1-yard line.
For those of you tuning in, we are here in the village of New Miami, whereas New Miami up on top of Miami Valley Christian Academy, 13-0. Just under 7:30 left to go in this first period. Quick strikes for New Miami after a turnover.
They've had they've not had a single play on their own half of the field all day long.
Easy pickings. Handoff up the middle is Jordan Robinette, and he's going to punch it in from a yard.
It's a touchdown,
and there it is.
We can't see the near side referee from our vantage point with the cinder blocks sticking out there across the window, but he was definitely raising his hands up, signaling the touchdown as Jordan Robinette punches that in from 1 yard out.
Dylan Spivey chipping in with a 7-yard TD run. Deonza Duncan with a 33-yard TD pass reception from Trey Robinette, and now Jordan Robinette punches it in from 1.
It's going to be wide and short to the right.
Trey Robinette's foot couldn't connect with that extra point, and that's wide left. We're going to stay at 19. Joel, we're going to take a quick break here. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
We'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsors. Performance Soda, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4 at Performance Soda. Our proud Performer of the Week sponsor. Matandy Steel and Metal Products, an official sponsor of Baden Athletics.
Hey, this is New Miami's Austin Hart, and you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Welcome back to New Miami, where it is New Miami striking early and often, 19-0 in this Miami Valley Conference contest. This broadcast is brought to you by Mel's Diner, located in the heart of New Miami, a proud sponsor of New Miami Athletics.
Chris, as I'm watching this, it seems like the weakest part of New Miami's game is the extra point kicking, and as you mentioned a little bit earlier and kind of dabbled around, as New Miami makes themselves ready for onside kick, out of bounds. Ooh, just about.
Jesse Hubbard, I don't know if he was expecting that onside kick or not, but Jesse Hubbard's yelling at his players, like, keep going, get that ball.
Well, that was clearly designed. I mean, they pooched that thing almost straight left. It went about 15 yards in the air. Miami Valley Christian Academy is going to have the best field position of the day as the ball goes out of bounds.
Thanks to that.
Around the 45-yard line or so. But as I was mentioning to you earlier, Chris, I wonder, as New Miami has tougher competition going down the stretch and looking at making a deep playoff run, might they consider just simply going for 2 and foregoing the extra point?
Right, I completely agree.
It might be a good strategy for them.
Miami Valley Christian Academy starts this drive at their own 45-yard line, like you were saying before. Best field position of the day for them. 7:06 left to go in this first quarter.
A real chance to get the ball across midfield here, Chris, and start doing anything whatsoever. I mean, MVCA, I don't even know what their punting game looks like because they've turned it over both possessions. 1 pick and 1 fumble.
Will Cox in the shotgun, actually pistol formation.
Yep.
Toss right to Ryan Conklin. Nothing going there. New Miami smothered sandwich right there.
It looks like, I'm trying to see the green numbers on black jerseys. It's not the easiest thing to pick out there. Number 7, that would be Jordan Robinette, was the first one that got to him. Stuck his arm out, grabbed a little fistful of jersey, kind of pushed him backwards, and then waited for his buddies to arrive to finish off the deed. Loss of 3.
Yep, Joel, that's going to be a 3-yard loss. That pushes the Lions back to their own 42-yard line.
My MVCA has had all kinds of trouble getting any traction against this Viking defense. Right. It's just been too good for him.
Oh, did they wear their inch and a quarter cleats on
the
this
cleats.
bad boy? Right.
That's right. The grass field.
Handoff up the middle to number 2, Ryan Conklin.
Jerry Helton on the tackle there, coming from the middle, the linebacker. Got penetration in the backfield, and once again a 1-yard loss. MVCA got the ball at the 45-yard line. They have since moved backwards on 2 running plays, setting up a 3rd and 14.
Well, we talked to Jesse Hubbard just a little bit ago prior to the New Miami Vikings warming up. Here's what Jesse had to say coming into this contest.
New Miami head coach Jesse Hubbard. Jesse, heading into this contest, it's week 7. The boys are heading into this one 6-0. What's been the mindset with your players, and how have they been able to keep their focus in terms of the season success?
A lot of that's our coaches. We got to keep them grounded. They're not used to seeing our name in the paper and on media sites, and so every week, I mean, we break them down Monday through Thursday. Then by today, we build them back up, and they're just excited. I mean, they're kids, they're teenagers, but they're excited, and they kind of, I'll hand to the team leaders we do have, keep them pretty focused. So it's a good thing.
Well, heading into this one as well, this is supposed to be an away game. And I'm sure you guys aren't going to complain about that, switching that from being a home game.
Not at all. So they they come to us early in the year, and I was all about it. Absolutely. Any more home games you can get, the better. And they bring good crowds too, which is a good thing. So, yeah, you can't beat it.
What's the focus heading into this one right now?
We got to work on some. Our run game is still. We got a little bit of holes where we got some kids who they're getting there. They're just not there yet. So hopefully tonight we can make it all come together and more of our power run game. So hopefully that comes together tonight and they perform well. So,
Coach, good luck tonight.
All right, thank you. Thanks.
That was Jesse Hubbard, New Miami football coach. Always a pleasure to talk to. Got these kids on the grind this year, 6-0, looking to go 7-0. So Miami Valley Christian Academy was 3-and-out there. Now New Miami has the ball after a punt, a decent punt, and they're going to start at their own 20-yard line.
Field position can make a little bit of a difference here, Chris. What you missed while you guys were away was Wilcox throwing it really, really deep and overthrew his receiver Tucker Allen, and then, of course, the fourth down punt, which was not fielded in these wet conditions, and rolled dead around the 20-yard line. So New Miami has an 80-yard field to deal with. First time they've had any adversity field position-wise all day.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of formation they're going to start out right here. If New Miami is going to prep for a long-distance drive. Spread out to the right side is DeAndre Duncan. Under center is Trey Robinette. Trey Robinette fake handoff, drops back to pass. He's going to hit DeAndre Duncan down the field, an incomplete fingertips. Like you said, their defender and DeAndre Duncan both got up to the highest point of that ball.
Bryce Martinelli was the defensive back in coverage there for the Lions, and he was Johnny on the spot right there with Duncan step by step. And when that ball was kind of underthrown and hung up in the air, both of them went up, met at the highest point, and both tipped it away. Harmlessly incomplete, 3rd and long for the Vikings.
Us seeing New Miami play for the first time this year, I imagine you've seen a lot of those passes. Hey, DeAndre, go over and get it.
Well, you normally expect a lot of rushing yards out of the wing T, and the passing stats are the ones that jump off in the statistics. So,
fake handoff, toss, quick pass to the left side over to Jordan Robinette. Brother to brother.
He's got a first down.
He picks up a first down there, like you said, Joel, to the 42-yard line of New Miami, and that's where they're going to start this next play.
That was not a very deep toss. It was just a little floater out of the backfield, hit him in the flat, and he just took it straight up the line and ran for about 18, more than 18 yards. It's about 23 on the play.
Like you always say, Joel, get the ball into somebody's hands and let them make a play.
Put him in space.
Right,
put him in space.
Hand off on an end around to number 7, Jordan Robinette. He gets himself a first down for a 12-yard gain, brings that ball to the 45-yard line, crosses midfield.
New Miami just simply looks bigger and stronger as a rule of thumb here, and they're moving the bodies of the Lions and creating all kinds of running room there for the running game.
Yeah, I'd imagine that Miami Valley Christian Academy may not be holding in some of that fatigue as this game's going on.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this bench. I'm seeing 3, 4, 5 guys that are all wearing the jerseys and wearing, like, khaki pants and jeans below it. So they must have had some injuries as this year's gone along.
Jordan Robinette takes it again over on the left side, out of bounds, passes the 30-yard line. First down, New Miami. Moving the change, Joel, and I tell you what, this might be a good time for New Miami. Already up 19-0 in the first quarter. Maybe time for Jesse Hubbard to figure out, hey, let's try and perfect some of these plays that we may not run often.
Well, you can certainly experiment, and the big question with the high school level sports centers, if you want to try something, it's a great opportunity to try it, but the problem is you're putting it on game film. If a future opponent wants to see it, they might be able to catch it. So it's hard to say what you do there.
Always got to play devil's advocate with me, don't you there, Joel?
I'm just mentioning. I'm with you. Of course, I'm a CYO coach from back in the day. We never had anybody filming against us, so it was, try whatever you want to.
Fake handoff is Trey Robinette rolling to the left side. He's going to try and release this ball at its highest point, and everybody goes up, and it's incomplete. That ball was intended for DeAndre Duncan, and that's around the 5-yard line, Joel. Incomplete.
John Riley, the defensive back, on the play there for the Lions. We're going to have a 2nd down and 10 as New Miami still is across midfield and has very good field position. 3:49 remaining in the first quarter if you're just tuning in.
Proud sponsor of New Miami Athletics is Mel's Diner. our official sponsor of New Miami High Sports.
The Village.
The Village. You can see these lights at night from anywhere in the village.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. That's going to be close to a first down, but I think just a hair short on that run. 3rd and 1 for the Vikings.
All kinds of action going on around the county here, Joel. We're going to hit you up here shortly regarding some playoff, not projections.
We don't project.
Some playoff implications.
That's
How about
right.
That
we can do implications.
Well, let's go. Let's use the correct verbiage there.
It looks like MVCA was able to stop him on that 3rd down run. It's going to be a 4th down and short. And I'll bet you with the kicking the way that it is with New Miami, this is absolutely 4-down territory here with the ball at the 25-yard line.
4th down, and I'd say 1.5. Trey Robinette is under center. Handoff, and that looks like it's Spivey. No, not Spivey. That's number 3. That's Danny Spivey, yep.
And the quarterback on defense, Will Cox, makes the tackle, and he's going to, looks like just have enough for the first.
Ooh, Joe.
I thought they might have stopped him short, but they gave him a generous spot, and it's going to be a first down for the Vikings.
Danny Spivey shook off somebody. I think that might have been maybe a yard behind the line of scrimmage, and then he ended up getting a little bit
just muscled his way, just enough. Somewhere on that other bench, the Lions coaching staff's got to be thinking, you've got to be kidding me. They don't need any help. And it looks like we got a little confusion here because they've set the chains up as if the Lions have the ball. They've moved only one of the set of 6. They've not moved the other one yet. And
yeah, I think
now they're going to measure.
They're going to measure, Joel. Why not?
Well, they've already signaled a first down. 2 different officials, both the referee in the white hat and the line judge in the black hat, have signaled a first down. Now they're going to call them out of here to measure.
Miami Valley Christian Academy was like, hey, hold on.
I didn't see a red challenge flag out there at all, and by half a length of a football, they got it. It is a first down for New Miami.
The side judge referees have really good eyes.
They know.
Around the county, we've got Northwest at Ross, Baden at CJ. Should be a good one up there in Dayton. Colerain at Hamilton, Lakota West at Mason, Fairfield at Princeton, Madison at Carlisle, Mount Healthy at Talawanda, Oak Hills at Lakota East, Winton Woods at Edgewood, Middletown at Sycamore, and Monroe took on Brookville at Brookville under the Thursday night lights. That game was televised on TV. That was pretty cool for Monroe, and they lost. I think it was a 10-point game, 31-21. Handoff to Jordan Robinette to the right side. Shake and bakes, get through some defenders, and he's taking that to the house. Joel, did he get it?
He might be just short. No, he's in. He's in.
Touchdown.
He's in.
Touchdown. Jordan Robinette weaving and dodging, making some players miss, making his own lanes. He's already got a 1-yard touchdown run. Adds on another 23-yard TD run for the Vikings. The Vikings go up on top 25-0 with 2:12 left to go in this first quarter.
So they're going to keep trying the kicking game out with Trey Robinette, straight on kicker.
What is it? Trey's 1 for 3 today. And it looks like
he's good.
2 for 4.
That was beautiful.
That was good from about 35, Joel. Well, New Miami is up on top 26-0 with 2:12 left to play in this first quarter. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Report's YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports results, stories, and student-athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Hey, this is New Miami's Trey Robinette, and you're listening to Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Welcome back to New Miami, where it is New Miami scoring early and often, trying to put this game away early. We'd like to let everybody know at halftime we will be talking to Miami Valley Conference Sports Information Director Kevin Donnett, as well as New Miami Athletics Guru, Blast from the Past, Scott Dell. We appreciate those two coming on at halftime to chat New Miami football and what's going on around the Miami Valley Conference. Trey Robinette set to kick this bad boy off. Miami Valley Christian Academy is going to let this ball go out of bounds, and that's a smart move, Joel, as they're going to start this ball. Is that the 35 now?
I believe it's the 35 for high school football,
Okay.
40 for NFL.
Right.
Chris, you were mentioning the teams playing each other. I got a couple scoreboard
Let's hear
updates. From your brother, Matt Vogt. It looks like Coleraine has just kicked a field goal to go up 3-0 against the pesky Hamilton team that's hanging right in there. From Tom Snape, we've got Talawanda takes a 2-0 lead on Mount Healthy on a snap to the punter that went out of the back of the end zone for the Owls. And CJ with an early touchdown and missed extra point takes a 6-0 lead on Baden. That's the game in Division III, Region 12 to keep an eye on tonight, CJ and the Baden Rams.
I've also got Jason Profit from Fairfield has given us an update on Fairfield. It's 7-0 Fairfield over Princeton at the end of the first.
It's good for Fairfield. Jerry Helton with a wonderful sack there, by the way, into the backfield. Cox had no chance to get rid of that ball on that play. We have 2nd and about 18 for the Lions.
This broadcast is brought to you by Mel's Diner, located in the heart of New Miami, the Village. Proud sponsor of New Miami Athletics.
Dakota East takes a 20-0 lead over Oak Hills in the first quarter.
Yeah, Oak Hills is having a rough time.
This has been a bad year for them.
Yeah, rough go for them.
Only team without a win in Division I, Region 4.
Is it really?
Yep.
Wow. The smorgasbord of New Miami Vikings takes down number 2 Ryan Conklin. It's going to be a 3rd and 10 for the Miami Valley.
You had mentioned earlier in the broadcast how New Miami had beaten Gamble Montessori first week of the season. Golden opportunity with second-level points. Gamble Montessori is playing against 1-5 Western Hills tonight. Not a tremendously quality team, but worth 6.5 second-level points because that's a Division I opponent.
Right.
You don't see too many Division I opponents there for this
Right.
level of play.
Right.
Screen
pass. It looks like it possibly could work for the benefit of Miami Valley Christian Academy. Number 2,
He's loose.
Ryan Conklin, he gets through. That's going to be about a 25-yard gain, Joel. First down, Lions.
On
That's
third.
on the 50-yard line.
3rd and about 22 there. And all 4 New Miami defensive linemen got through the offensive line. We're right there. Let's meet at the quarterback. And then, whoops, the screen was dumped right over the top of them.
Worked out fantastic. It was great.
It's exactly like you want to see a screen drawn up there, Chris.
26-0. New Miami is up on top of My Valley Christian Academy. The Lions driving at the 50-yard line. Just under 20 seconds left in his first quarter. Pistol formation, 2 wide out to the left, 2 wide out to the right for Miami Valley Christian Academy. Will Cox takes that handoff, and he's actually going to take it himself, Joel. Nice little 15-yard gain. First down, brings that across the 35-yard line.
Lions getting a little bit of momentum, a little traction in this game. That's going to be the last play of the quarter because they're going to stop the clock at 7 seconds and then wind it when the chains are set here, Chris. Quick correction from earlier. Apparently CJ must have made the extra point, or there must have been a penalty to let him retake it because it is 7-0 CJ at the end of the first there up there in Dayton against the Baden Rams.
Good call. We'll keep a keen eye on that game as we do cover the Baden Rams within our jurisdiction. The rain's coming down harder here at New Miami.
Oh, it's coming.
John Merrifield. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Report's YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports results, stories, and student-athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game. We'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsors. Performance Soda, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4 at Performance Soda. Our proud Performer of the Week sponsor. Matandy Steel and Metal Products, an official sponsor of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, who is partnered up as our Performer of the Week gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, providing professional images for your local high school athletes. SuccessPhoto.com.
Hey, this is New Miami's Austin Hart, and you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Village, where it's New Miami taking a commanding lead at the end of this first quarter. We are entering quarter number 2 of this bad boy, Joel, and Miami Valley Christian Academy is driving. 1st and 10 at the New Miami 35-yard line, and Deonta Duncan just got his second pick of the game, Joel.
So much for that. Best drive of the night, and ends in no points, and picked by Deonta Duncan, and it was thrown right to him.
Yeah, well, that was grounds for his second pick of the day right there.
It was right there. They had a receiver in the route, and the ball was actually better thrown as if it was going to Duncan. I mean,
right.
Reach your hands up, pick off the ball, and the one saving grace there for MVCA for now was the fact that it was so close to the sideline that he stepped out of bounds as he was wrestling away from the receiver.
Well, I'm trying to think of whether or not maybe Cox intended that pass to go a little bit shorter, and maybe a little bit of that water got on that ball. And
well, it's wet out there. It's wet.
I wouldn't imagine New Miami's going to be doing too much passing from here on out. Handoff around the left side as Jordan Robinette brings it back inside, and he's going to be getting nothing on that one. Good pursuit from Miami Valley Christian Academy.
Easily done. Very small gain on the play. We're going to have about 2nd and 9 set up there on that handoff. And I agree with you, Chris. It's going to be probably a lot of running the ball, at least for the second quarter. Once we get into the third quarter, if it is a 30-point margin and running clock, at that point it won't really matter if you're calling running or passing plays because the clock will continue to run even on incomplete passes.
2nd down and 9 at the New Miami 34-yard line. Trey Robinette under center. Deonta Duncan split to the right. He drops back to pass. A quick pass over the middle and perfect lead to Danny Spivey, breaking off of that tight end position for a first down, 12-yard gain.
He slipped right down the seam, and certainly MVCA is thinking the same as you are about running the football. They slipped him right out there in the seam. Perfect throw. Trey Robinette.
Spot's going to put that ball at the New Miami 47-yard line. New Miami not skipping a beat right here, Joel.
They're keeping moving right down the field. We're below 11 minutes now in the second quarter of play.
47-yard line. 10:45 left to go in the second quarter. New Miami up on top of Miami Valley Christian Academy, 26-0. If you're just tuning in, I'm Chris Vogt alongside Joel Sackenheim. Joel Sackenheim, a 2-game Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network winning streak for you.
How about it? I'm loving it. Loving it, Chris.
Tossed over to the right side to the lead back, Jordan Robinette. Did you kind of notice that? So Jordan Robinette was the lead block, and he's bumbling out of bounds.
Yeah, he was perfectly positioned to be the lead blocking fullback for the guy behind him, but they tossed it to the lead back. Okay, that works.
I think Trey was like, I'm going to give this to my brother.
That twin connection, right? I have to ask Morgan and Trenton about that. That twin connection.
Yeah, you are a sibling of some twins. That pushes the ball across the 50-yard line down to the 26-yard line of Miami Valley Christian Academy. Under center is Trey Robinette, looking at around 10:35 left to go in this second
double
quarter.
Handoff.
Handoff to Donovan Howard. He's going to get himself about 3 on that one.
That might be one of those experimental plays you were talking about earlier, Chris. Try it out. See how it works in the game. Little double handoff action there from Robinette to Howard.
Well, if you're not really going to get a little bit of pursuit from your down lineman on the defensive side, you might be able to get away with running that ball if you're not getting any traction from the defense.
If the defense sells out one side, that's where you can really get them. Alter is notorious for this. You know, when they play games in the GCL. Speaking of which, Alter down 7-0 after losing to Baden. They're losing to Fenwick now, 7-0 at the end of the first.
Baden knocked him down a peg or two, didn't they?
They did. That was the first time in 23 games for the Baden Rams beating Alter.
The lead blocker against number 7 is Jordan Robinette. Trailing him was Nate Severella.
This angle is messing with my brain a little bit because it looked like he got the first down from the diagonal angle I'm watching here with this, Chris, but he's clearly about 2 or 3 full yards short. It's not even that close.
I think that far right light is stuck behind trees, and I think that's kind of messing with our deception there.
Yeah, we're kind of looking at this diagonally here. You know, we're a little closer to the field, a little lower to the ground than we're used to here at the New Miami press box, but the scents from the concession stand are wonderful.
Trey Robinette's going to take that QB keeper up the middle and get himself a first down. Saw a hole that is indefinite that he was going to take that.
How nice is it to call a quarterback sneak and be able to get 6 yards? I mean, not even close. Not even close. Look like Tom Brady in there.
running the offense to a T.
Quarterback sneak.
Tom Brady. I picked up Tom Brady as my second quarterback. I took a risk on Andrew Luck, and obviously he went down. So I was like, hey, I got Tom Brady as my backup. And
sounds to me like you don't have much luck at all.
Right. Hand off. Over to the right side. That looks like it's Jordan Robinette. And Jordan Robinette gets tackled by number 24.
That's Bryce Martinelli.
Good open field tackle by Bryce Martinelli.
Martinelli was the one who broke up the pass at midfield in the first quarter. He's had a nice little game for the Lions.
2nd down and 9. That was only a yard for one of the Robinette brothers. Looks like that ball is going to be placed at the 14-yard line. New Miami knocking on the door again and reaching about the 8-minute mark of this second quarter.
Oh, float it.
Wide open, Trey Robinette. Looks like one of the Spivey brothers, and he gets down to...
He's in the end zone, I believe.
Actually, I think the Spiveys might actually be cousins, if I'm correct here.
That'd be Danny Spivey, yeah. He was the tight end. He just slipped right on out.
And Joel, that's a 14-yard touchdown pass. Trey Robinette to Spivey.
Slipped the guy right out of the backfield. Very similar to the play we saw earlier on this drive where he slipped across midfield.
Trey Robinette, we're pulling for Trey to get himself a third extra. That's had the most leg.
It's good.
Had the most leg on that kick we've seen all day from Trey, and that's good. Moves that ball, or moves the score to 33-0. New Miami over Miami Valley Christian Academy. We've hit the 8:05 mark of this second quarter. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
Hey, this is New Miami Sheriff Robinette, and you're listening to Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Welcome back to John Mara Field here in the village of New Miami, where it is the Vikings up on top of the Lions of Miami Valley Christian Academy, 33-0. Joel, New Miami just kind of putting it to a team that doesn't have much on the sidelines.
They're putting it to a team that they need to be putting it to. They're doing exactly 5-0 or 6-0, depending if you want to count it Harbin ratings versus regular. As the ball gets kicked barely out of bounds there right by the pylon.
I don't know. Trey's done that twice today, hasn't he? He's kicked that ball out of bounds twice. I mean, if you're New Miami and you do this in the playoffs, that's grounds for field position.
Well, yeah, I don't know how good, and here's the question, how good is New Miami's kickoff coverage unit? Because if it's bad, then you're basically just simply going to give them the ball at the 35-yard line and say you're not going to return anything against us.
There you go.
Some teams may sign up for that, depending on how good or bad their special teams unit is. MVCA's offense have shown little tonight to make you believe that they're going to be able to move the ball 65 yards on a drive.
So why give them that open space?
So, there you go. It's not a bad strategy. Looks like they're already... Hang on. Referees try to motion to start the clock on a change of possession. New Miami's going to take a timeout. It's too early for the running clock, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll take a timeout as well, Joe. It's 33-0. New Miami up on top of Miami Valley Christian Academy. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
We'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsors. Performance Soda, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4 at Performance Soda. Our proud Performer of the Week sponsor. Matandy Steel and Metal Products, an official sponsor of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, who is partnered up as our Performer of the Week gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, providing professional images for your local high school athletes. SuccessPhoto.com.
Hey, this is New Miami's Austin Hart, and you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Village, where it is New Miami up on top of Miami Valley Christian Academy, 33-0. A little bit of this and a little bit of that, Joel. We saw Dylan Spivey touchdown run, Deonta Duncan with a touchdown pass from Trey Robinette, Jordan Robinette, a couple touchdowns from him, Deonta Duncan, a couple interceptions as well. Everybody getting in the mix for the Vikings.
And the referee is again signaling to start the clock. And one more time. So it looks like, and I was talking to Mr. Krause during our commercial break, Chris, both teams have actually mutually agreed to start the running clock in the second quarter.
Got it. Fake handoff, and Cox is going to take it himself. He gets himself about a 7-yard gain. Great run, great read option run out of the pistol formation.
Kept it, let the defensive end bite on the running back and pulled it, and got around the left side, left end. Got about 9 yards on the play there. Good run for Cox.
It's going to set up a 2nd down and 2 at the Miami Valley Christian Academy 43-yard line. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network. I'm Chris Vogt, joined by my right-hand man, Joel Sackenheim, for this evening. He's 2 games in on his streak of color commentary coverage for the report. In for Joey. Some shoes to fill right there, Joe.
Aqua and orange-colored shoes to fill.
Right. Well, Joe, as we take another timeout, let's kind of dive into some talk about playoff implications. Let's say you've got your spreadsheet open. Let's hear the SAC report.
Where do you want to start?
Well, I tell you what,
we're gonna have plenty of time with the running clock all second half.
Well, let's start right here with New Miami. A lot of interesting stuff to talk about in terms of what their schedule means to themselves, actually.
Yeah, New Miami, if they win out, should comfortably fit into the number 2 seed. I mean, that's the way that it looks like. They are undefeated right now. They're in good shape.
So I'm a New Miami fan. I'm looking, well, they're number 1 right now. If they win out, what's up with that? They're going to be at number 2?
Well, Marion Local is right behind them at number 2, barely behind them. They are 5-1 this year, but they play in that Midwest Athletic Conference with Coldwater and all those tough schools. They've got a lot more firepower left to go on the schedule. So if Marion Local wins out, they got Versailles, Minster, Fort Recovery, and then Coldwater in Week 10. Marion Local will have enough points to really kind of control their own destiny at the end of this thing.
Right, handoff up the middle to Conklin, and that's going to be a 1st down. They're going to push the chains there, Joel. The Lions, 1st and 10 at their own 47-yard line. Under 7 minutes to play in the second quarter. Jesse Hubbard's got the headset off, saying, let's play some defense, boys.
Yeah, come on. Let's not end this thing now, right? We've got the running clock going. Let's keep it up. Yeah, if you're a New Miami fan that wants a number 1 seed, your best bet is going to be winning those last 4 games, winning tonight and the last 3, and then having Marion Local lose in Week 10 to Coldwater. Coldwater is going to be the strongest opponent they have. They are 6-0 in Division 6, Region 23 right now.
And that's Week 10, correct?
That's Week 10.
Yeah, Week 10.
So Week 10 will be New Miami's best shot to jump them at the end if they can get Coldwater to knock off Marion Local.
Will Cox rolls to the right side of a wide open number 24, Bryce Martinelli. He gets himself a 1st down. That's about a 25-yard gain, Joel.
He was uncovered. Yeah, he was completely uncovered. No cornerback on him. I didn't see if the cornerback was looking in the backfield and bit on the play action fake or just simply not lined up correctly in the first place, but Martinelli was wide open on that toss.
If you're Hubbard, you're wondering what the heck happened there.
What's that going to look like in film study tomorrow?
1st down and 10 at around the 31-yard line is Miami Valley Christian Academy. Just under 6 minutes left to play in this first half. 3 to 4 wide receivers set, 2 to the right, 2 to the left. In the shotgun formation, tosses it on over to the right side to number 5, Tucker Allen. That's incomplete. Pass was intended from Wilcox to Tucker Allen.
That was a read option where the quarterback kept it and rolled out to the right, but then also it was an RPO. He had the opportunity to throw it, and he tried to hit the deep guy on the throw. Jerry Helton gave him a nice hit at the end of that throw, but he patted him on the helmet there at the end of that thing. No hard feelings, good sportsmanship there. If you look at Cox's jersey especially, he's had a rough game out there, and you can see the back of his jersey is starting to get that wonderful shade of mud on the back of it.
Somewhere you wouldn't see anywhere else except for here
or
Madison.
Does Fenwick still have grass? And does Carroll still have grass?
I don't know. I could not tell you.
I think Ross has gotten theirs changed over to field turf now. Oh, that's a sack.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That read option out of the pistol formation. And Cox goes down. I couldn't tell you who made that tackle, Joel.
Zach
but
Trent.
A couple of them. There we go.
He was the first one there, and there are about 4 other guys to follow. We'll give the sack to Trent and then give his buddies moral support, shall we say, on that
there
sack.
We go. No, they want that. They want a .5er. They want a .5 sack there, man.
You can't give .5ers to 4 guys, right?
Pistol formation, 2 wide out to the right, 2 to the left.
3rd and long.
Third and about 15. At their own 36-yard line. Screen right in the middle of the field to number 2, Ryan Conklin. And not until they get about 7 yards on that one. That's going to bring up 4th down and about 8.
Cameron Melvin read that a lot better than the previous screenplay that they had ran where nobody read it. That was a linebacker recognized that came up. Toss was complete, but not a whole lot of running room there after that for the Lions.
Yeah, we've got about 3:30 left to go in this first half. Just to tune everybody in as to what we got going on at halftime. We've got New Miami Athletics Hall of Famer Scott Dell, as well as the Miami Valley Christian Academy, Miami Valley Conference Sports Information Director Kevin Dennett. We've talked to Kevin Dennett quite often during the basketball season. We get to get his tidbits and words of wisdom regarding the football season and beyond here during the fall. Back to pass is Cox. Cox getting some pursuit by that New Miami defense, and he got hit pretty hard, Joel.
Big wallop there.
Yep.
That was Donovan Howard that made the big hit. He actually had a guy open, but because he had to rush the throw for the hit, it ended up sailing out of bounds for an incomplete pass and a turnover on downs for the New Miami Vikings. The clock is now stopped for the turnover on downs, at least, at 2:57 remaining before halftime.
That's going to get the ball to New Miami at their own 20, we'll call that the 28-yard line. Just under 3 minutes left to play in this second quarter. New Miami looking to go 7-0 here. Like we were talking about before, a win like this technically doesn't really help them. Like you said, it might be better off if they'd have a bye
Actually, they would have been better off unless MVCA wins one of their last 3 games.
Right.
New Miami actually would be better off with a bye week tonight, mathematically. But then we couldn't be here.
Yeah, that's a good point. When we had this on our schedule, it was supposed to be at Miami Valley Christian Academy. But,
was it?
But they don't have a field.
Okay.
They had a hard time scheduling this one, so
Interesting.
New Miami off to say, hey, you can come here. And if you're New Miami, of course, why would you say no?
Take another home game. You got the field here, right? It's ready to roll.
Right.
Yeah, well, and it looks like that evened out their schedule at 5-5 for home games and away games too. So that's not bad. Oh wow,
no, it's 6. It's 6.
Okay, because Joe Idle's actually got it listed as an away game. Yep. You're right, Chris. There it is.
On the New Miami fan page, I'm part of the page just to kind of keep.
Oh, you're like an honorary villager,
right? Well, I post the information in terms of what the reports for them, and quite a few villagers who didn't realize that this game was home. So
wow,
right. But the report's got you covered.
Chaminade Julien scores again, goes up 17-0 on Baden. Wow.
Well, Baden's defense has been a little bit of a staple within the last couple weeks, and
but not tonight.
Needed it tonight if you're Baden Rams.
It looks like that was a 93-yard touchdown run in that game.
Yeesh.
Punched out from the shadow of their own goal line, and Baden's playing from behind the rest of the night.
Yeah. Well, that pass from Trey Robinette was intended for Deonza Duncan. No one else other than Deonza Duncan. That's going to be 2nd down and 10 for New Miami. Looks like a running clock here in the second quarter, dropping this under 2 minutes to play in this.
By my estimation, with only 12 players actually suited up. Oh.
Deonza Duncan's got some separation here. A pass, crunch, missed tackle, and Deonza Duncan's gone with a juke move down to the right sideline. Jukes to the left, and nobody's going to catch him, Joel. Deonza Duncan is gone.
That was a beautiful catch and run there. Great throw by Robinette. Defender crunched him, as you might even be able to hear it in the broadcast, the crunch. And yet it didn't knock him out of bounds. He didn't wrap him up. There's your fundamentals.
Yep.
Ran down the sideline, cut it in on the defender charging from the other side, and right across the field. Call that a 71-yard touchdown reception.
Jordan Robinette got him a couple touchdowns. Deonta Duncan adds his second touchdown of the day, and that's going to push him over 100 yards receiving, Joel, with 2 touchdowns.
How about it?
Deonta Duncan's got 2 picks and 2 touchdown receptions. And Trey Robinette's on fire.
He's on
7
fire straight now, right?
That moves it up to 40-0 here in the first half.
All smiles for the Vikings tonight.
Right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
We'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsors. Performance Soda, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4 at Performance Soda. Our proud Performer of the Week sponsor. Matandy Steel and Metal Products, an official sponsor of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, who is partnered up as our Performer of the Week gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, providing professional images for your local high school athletes. SuccessPhoto.com.
Hey, this is New Miami's Austin Hart, and you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Village. We're at New Miami up on top of Miami Valley Christian Academy, 40-0. Like you were saying before we hit that break, all smiles, Coach Hubbard and those Vikings.
Well, when you have a nice little athlete advantage there, it's like playing with toys at this point in time. Which one do you want to get out of the toy box? Which one do you want to play with?
Yeah, well, and if you're Hubbard, then you start considering playing some players that you want to kind of get a good look at in terms of, hey, let's see what we got in the future coming up.
Well, and with Miami Valley Christian Academy only having, it looks like, 12 guys in uniform tonight, they're not going to have a lot of ability to sub people in and out. It's basically let live and survival of the fittest. But New Miami's got a slew of a good, probably about 15 to 20 guys on the sideline here they can put into the game. So they'll have some reserves they can put in the second half.
It looks like Hubbard's going to keep his starters out there for the rest of this quarter, and Cox is going to take a read option himself. He gets about 9 yards. Joel, decent little run by Cox. Tell you what, Cox is, pretty good job of doing a little bit of that read play that they've been running all day.
They've had some opportunities there. They've not been able to string enough of those good plays together in one drive. We have a timeout being taken by Miami Valley Christian Academy.
Well, I think one of our referees down here towards us is saying, give him the first down. And I would sort of agree with him on that.
I think he's short by about a half yard. And that's, well, maybe. Okay, they're pushing it. They are pushing it. Good eye on that, Chris Vogt. Very nicely done.
I want to thank you for listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network. I'm Chris Vogt, alongside Joel Sackenheim, our color commentator for this evening. Appreciate you listening. We're here at New Miami, home of the Vikings, up on top of Miami Valley Christian Academy, 40-0 in this Miami Valley Conference contest. Here at the half, we're going to talk with Scott Dell, New Miami Hall of Famer, as well as Miami Valley Conference Sports Information Director Kevin Dunnett.
MVCA comes out after their timeout. They've got a first down at the 47-yard line. They probably wouldn't mind not having a running clock for this drive at least. Give them a chance to score something.
Absolutely.
But the clock's already going to wind. They're down below 30 seconds now already.
This ball's at the 47-yard line. Pistol formation, 4 wide receivers, 2 right, 2 left. Cox gets the snap. Hand off to Conklin up the middle. Conklin rumbles himself for about 11-yard gain.
First down.
And it looks like you're going to get another timeout from Miami Valley Christian Academy.
This running clock is really going to hamper their ability to do anything on this drive. They're going to run out of time.
Right.
18 seconds where the clock stops, and that's at least the second, if not the third, charge timeout for the Lions.
This broadcast is brought to you by Mel's Diner, a proud supporter of New Miami High School athletics. Located in the heart
of the village.
Always great to be here. I'll tell you what, the last time I was actually here was when I think Jeremy Rogers was coaching these boys. Now Jeremy's helping out with the Baden High School linebackers, I believe.
Well, last year was, I believe, the first time New Miami made the playoffs in about 10 years.
Yep.
And this year they're looking to have a home game. I mean, make no bones about it. They win out, they are going to have a home game.
Yep.
Might be a 2 seed, but they're having a home game.
Looking at our schedule, I was talking with athletic director Eric Hayes over here in New Miami. I said, we're eyeing that home game in Week 11.
If you look at the teams they might be hosting, I mean, New Bremen, Hardin Northern, Mississinawa Valley, those are all teams in that area right now. 7 seed line.
And is that Deonta
No,
Duncan?
dropped it.
Oh, I was going to say, is that Deonta Duncan? Oh, no, he's on the other side of the field. And that's going to take us to the half, Joel.
That's right. Incomplete pass will not stop the clock with the running clock.
Yeah, 40 to nothing going to take us into the half. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network. Stay tuned. We've got a full schedule at halftime.
We'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsors. Performance Soda, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4 at Performance Soda. Our proud Performer of the Week sponsor. Matandy Steel and Metal Products, an official sponsor of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, who is partnered up as our Performer of the Week gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, providing professional images for your local high school athletes. SuccessPhoto.com.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
Hey, this is New Miami's Austin Hart, and you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network. We are here in the village as New Miami and Miami Valley Christian Academy are set to take the field here. New Miami is winning at the half 40 to nothing. At this time, we'd like to welcome in New Miami Athletics Hall of Famer Scott Dell. Scott has coached baseball, football, and basketball, all little pro, as well as coached the 7th and 8th grade and freshman basketball teams for Ed McCoy and Kevin Lakes. He's also a member of the last Miami Valley Conference back-to-back football champions back in 1981 and 1982. Scott Dell, thank you for joining us this evening. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you guys giving me this honor to step up in here and answer some questions. And
well, Scott, I tell you what, we want to hear stories of those who were a part of New Miami's success. And talking with Jesse Hubbard, the head coach, he said this is neat. This is hard to come by from a New Miami standpoint.
Yes, it is hard to come by. The talent in New Miami is so tight-knit. You know, it's not a very big community, but everybody is real tight-knit. They're real hard-nosed kids in the village in New Miami. They practice hard. They play hard. They're taught very well. They're coached very well.
So,
it's a very tight-knit,
absolutely
friendly community. Everybody knows everyone.
Well,
families know all families.
Tell us what it's been like watching these New Miami Vikings play, and quite frankly, it stemmed a lot of the momentum that was created from last season.
Oh, this has really brought the community up. I mean, it's really opened the eyes in Butler County as well.
Right.
I mean, being unbeaten in the New Miami team, I mean, it really feels good in the village of New Miami. Being a guy that's been here my whole life, played football here. My older brother played football, graduated in 78. I graduated in 84. My son played, graduated in 2003. This is really a great thing for the village of New Miami.
Well, just watching from afar, and this being the first time we've watched a game this season, it's just neat to see people rally around this program at this time.
Yeah, the community is really behind them. I mean, the crowd last week is something I ain't seen in a long, long time. I've seen cars parked on 7 Mile Avenue up and down. I haven't seen that for years, probably 30 years. Cars that used to be parked up and down, people watching the game, on the back fences
Right.
everywhere. I mean, it looked like that last week. It was great.
Well, that means something special is going on.
That is absolutely something special in the village of New Miami.
You were inducted in the 2010 Athletics Hall of Fame for your achievements and contributions to the New Miami community. Talk about the vibe that's been brewing around the village. How much of an impact does this have from this success of this athletics program? What's the point of view from a New Miami faithful?
What I can see here, I mean, I heard this vibe a few years back from my son Ryan. He was telling me, he said, "Dad, there's some kids coming. This program's getting ready to come out again. You know, it's had its down years," and he told me about these kids back when they were in the junior high and elementary. He said, "It's coming again."
And he was
said,
right.
We're going to have some good football teams, good basketball teams, and good baseball teams. The talent in the village, you know, it comes and goes. It's not here all the time.
Right.
But when you got it and you got these good coaches like they have, that talent, you know, is put to use. I mean, these coaches have done very, very well with these kids, and these kids have really responded to them.
I'm talking with New Miami Hall of Famer Scott Dell. We want to thank Scott Dell for joining us here. We're all listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network. Scott, you were a born and bred New Miamian. You still live in New Miami. You're a proud part of the village.
Absolutely.
What are some of the things that you'd say to these young men coming from a person who has been there before?
You know, it was an honor last week. I got to speak to the young men in the pregame speech.
Right.
Me and a fellow teammate from '82, Steve Ball, another Hall of Famer. We was invited to give the pregame speech last week, and we talked to him about, hard-nosed. New Miami's hard-nosed players, Ironman football. And when people play you, win, lose, or draw, they knew that they always played New Miami when they woke up the next day. They knew they was going to get hit. And that's one thing about it. These kids don't quit. I can see that. They just keep chomping at it. They don't quit.
Now, Scott, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but is this New Miami's best football team that you've seen in a while?
That's a tough question,
Right,
Chris.
right.
I mean, I don't want to be unfair to no or offend no one, but this is a very, very good football team. There's been a lot of very, very good football teams come out of New Miami. And the one thing I see, when there's always some type of New Miami blood in the coaching lines at New Miami, going back to Doug Krause, Jeremy Rogers, and Ben Hubbard, and now Coach Jesse Hubbard. His father, Walt's on the staff, was a '61 graduate of New Miami. He was homecoming queen with my late mother-in-law, Marilyn Cole, the first graduating class in New Miami. It's a great, small-knit community thing.
So it's all relative.
It's all relative. Everybody knows everybody. It's great.
Scott, what else is there to say about New Miami right now? The positiveness has to just be refreshing.
I mean, it feels great. I work in Oxford. I go to work. I got people talking to me about the program, and they're saying, it's like the old times. I say, yeah, it's back on the rise again. And everywhere I go, people's asking me things. I mean, I'm very proud of the village of New Miami. I've been here my whole life. Plan on staying here my whole life.
Fantastic.
And very, very proud to be a Viking.
Well, Scott, we appreciate what you've done and what you continue to do for New Miami, and we appreciate you joining us tonight. So enjoy the rest of the game. Right?
Thanks a lot. Sure appreciate it.
Awesome.
Good luck, Vikings.
That was Scott Dell, part of the New Miami faithful and proud villager. We are at the half. It's 40-0. New Miami over Miami Valley Christian Academy. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
We'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsors. Performance Soda, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4 at Performance Soda. Our proud Performer of the Week sponsor. Matandy Steel and Metal Products, an official sponsor of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, who is partnered up as our Performer of the Week gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, providing professional images for your local high school athletes. SuccessPhoto.com.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in The Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
Hey, this is Mid-Miami's Austin Hart, and you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network. We are at the half here in the Village, where it is New Miami up on top of Miami Valley Christian Academy, 40-0. We're just joined by New Miami Hall of Famer Scott Dell. Gave us some great insight in terms of what it's like to be watching a team like New Miami this year with the success, and how it's just an upbringing, positive vibe to this community of New Miami. But right now I'm joined by Miami Valley Conference Sports Information Director Kevin Dennett. Kevin, always a pleasure chatting with you, and we want to thank you for joining us again. So.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate you asking. It's always nice to be back in Viking country. I know that that's a tough act to follow there with Scott Dell. Great guy. I know Scott real well.
Well, the Miami Valley Conference had some adjusting prior to the football season starting. Seeing the addition of Roger Bacon and Purcell Marion in football, two-story programs from the GCL. Talk about that transition and what it's been like and whatnot there.
Yeah, two great programs with great histories and tradition, Chris, like you said. But I think both schools appreciate the move because, their teams are now able to compete with schools more their size, which wasn't always the case in the GCL co-ed. But more importantly, let's look at it, say, from a team like New Miami's point of view. This allows the smaller schools to kind of face each other in football without being forced into those crossover games against some schools that are much larger. But on a personal note, hey, I want to get out in the next few weeks and catch Roger Bacon's Corey Kiner. I mean, that guy is the real deal, and he's just a junior.
Well, and I tell you what, I think WCPO had a little bit of I think they're doing a special on the top three running backs, and I think Mayan Williams, Jaton McClain from Fairfield, and Corey Kiner from Roger Bacon. So it doesn't get better than those three at this point. Kevin, catch us up to speed on some things going on within the conference from other sports. So, hey, let's not just talk about football here. Let's talk about the other fall sports that are happening right now.
Sure. Well, today the Miami Valley Conference had a pair of golfers competing in the state tournament. CHCA's Jack Son and Cincinnati Country Day's Sam Pettingill. Also, CHCA's Lynn Cater will play tomorrow in the district semis, but has already punched her ticket to the state tennis championships next weekend. That's great from those individuals. We crowned the conference champion in men's cross country yesterday, Summit Country Day. Now, that team's won 10 of the last 11 titles in the sport. And with postseason coming up in soccer, let's not forget, CCD's the defending state champion in women's soccer. So we're anxious to see what they can do.
Well, Kevin, I'm going to cut to the chase here. Talk about the Miami Valley Conference, with these Vikings. Head coach Jesse Hubbard has his kids focused. As you said earlier in the week, they're on fire.
Sure. I mean, each school in the Miami Valley Conference has its own positive things happening. That's for sure. But I'm pretty sure the biggest news out of the Miami Valley Conference right now is the 6-0, and let's be honest, it looks like it probably might be 7-0 start by the Vikings. I spent 30 years teaching and coaching here, and I can't tell you how excited I am for these kids. Like Scott said, this town just loves football, and the excitement that they're bringing right now is amazing. Hey, I know Coach Hubbard isn't looking ahead, too. Let's be honest. But, boy, what a matchup we have next week with New Miami traveling to North College Hill and what probably will decide a divisional championship.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. That was on our radar, and unfortunately we were not able to get to that one next week for our broadcast. So we want to kind of divvy it up to all of our Butler County teams. But I'm fortunate to be here tonight for us to watch New Miami take on Miami Valley Christian Academy. Kevin, anything else you'd like to make note of regarding the Miami Valley Conference this fall?
Sure. Well, I do want to bring up, I did a feature story. I want to bring up Sam Pettingill again from Cincinnati Country Day. I did a feature story on this young man just this week. He's competing, as I said, up in Columbus in the state golf match. Actually, he's, I think, finished today in 5th place. This young man, if you can imagine, is beginning his junior year. Okay, so he's been through, this is his 7th sports season, his junior year.
Right.
He's made it to state 5 times in 3 different sports. He's made it in golf, track, swimming, and he's been up to Columbus for those state championships 5 times. And that's remarkable.
That's talent right there, Kevin.
Yeah, especially when you think this young man's got 5 sports seasons ahead of him. So I did want to give kudos to Sam and what he's accomplished there at Cincinnati Country Day. And I'm also going to give you kudos. You talk about spreading the coverage around and stuff. Hey, I can't be happier for what you're doing for our conference, Cincinnati Christian, New Miami. Sometimes when you compete in those Cincinnati conferences, you get kind of lost in the shuffle up here. But you guys are doing a great job shouting out Cincinnati Christian and New Miami as far as the Butler County Schools.
Well, Kevin, we appreciate. Hey, in a blink of an eye, we're transitioning to winter, but let's finish this fall season out right first.
I want to see these guys in the playoffs.
Right, absolutely. Well, we do too because we want to cover them. So, nice. Hey, but Kevin, we'll keep in touch. We appreciate you hopping on. All right.
Thanks a lot,
Kevin. Take care.
Appreciate it.
That was Miami Valley Conference Sports Information Director Kevin Dennett. It's 40-0 at the half. New Miami up on top of Miami Valley Christian Academy. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
We'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsors. Performance Soda, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4 at Performance Soda. Our proud Performer of the Week sponsor. Matandy Steel and Metal Products, an official sponsor of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, who is partnered up as our Performer of the Week gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, providing professional images for your local high school athletes. SuccessPhoto.com.
Hey, this is New Miami Straight Up and and you're listening to Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network. I'm Chris Vogt, joined by Joel Sackenheim, our color commentary man of the hour. Joel, at the half, New Miami, the story is told by the numbers at this point.
I mean, what more can you say? It's 40-0 at halftime, and sometimes you say the scoreboard, it's not really that close, or it's really close. No, it's about 40-0. That's about exactly what it should be right now, and New Miami is basically moving the ball at will. They're doing it through the ground with Trey Robinette, Jordan Robinette, and they're doing it through the air with Deonta Duncan. And God bless Miami Valley Christian Academy. They are doing this with 12 players. And it was Kevin you were talking to before I got back on here, was talking about how at one point in time he was involved in AD and they were playing Waynesville. They only had 14 players, and he said he ended up canceling the game. He didn't want to put his 14 players at risk. You have 4 go down with an injury, and you can't even field a team for the remainder of the game there. MVCA is really in danger of that, but so far no injuries to the Lions. They continue to play hard. I can see why they'd run the running clock here with the lack of personnel that they have. It's not like they got backups they can put in at this point in time.
Well, Joel, I think you kind of touched notion regarding a situation like that. Yes, you want to make sure that all players are going to be as healthy as they can at the end of the game, but I think that running clock will be justified.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at something like a Fairfield situation or an Elder or a St. X or somebody like that, if you have one of those big Division I schools, you got 85 people on the bench, and so I still am morally opposed to a running clock for almost all situations. You get those teams, even a Baden and a CJ tonight, if it were to go completely out of control, which it's not. You've got a whole second and third team on your bench that you can put in and get the playing time to. You don't need a running clock. But in a situation like this, there's only one guy on the bench that's stressed that can come in. I think it's warranted.
Right. Well, Joel, around the county tonight, we've got Northwest at Ross, Baden at CJ, Coleraine at Hamilton, Lakota West at Mason, Fairfield at Princeton, Madison at Carlisle, Mount Healthy at Talawanda, Oak Hills at Lakota East, Winton Woods at Edgewood, Middletown at Sycamore. Joel, do you have any idea what kind of information we've got on some of these games at the moment?
Well, CJ is leading Baden 17-3 at the half. Middletown is pesky. Middletown is really, really pesky. It's 9-0 Sycamore at halftime. Hamilton's pesky. I think it was only 10-0. Coleraine was leading at halftime last I saw. Lakota East is rolling over Oak Hills 34-0. That's not at all a problem. So, yeah, there you go. Edgewood is getting pummeled right now by Winton Woods. Yep. It's 33-7 Winton Woods there. Edgewood's got very little steam left in their season, it looks like, at this point.
Well, and seeing what Edgewood lost last year in terms of their offensive prowess, you lost 2,000-yard running backs.
Very difficult to replace that.
Right.
Yeah, they've had all kinds of trouble on the offensive line and everything else. And Edgewood wants to run the wing T, and when you don't have the offensive line personnel to be able to accomplish it, it really puts you behind the 8 ball. Baden, as you saw, didn't either this year, and they've gone to a spread formation for exactly that reason.
Well, Joel, we're at the half here at New Miami. 40-0 New Miami on top of Miami Valley Christian Academy. I think we're, in terms of stats, Joel, you can look at it this way. Dylan Spivey has a 7-yard TD run. Deonza Duncan has a 71-yard TD catch, a 33-yard TD catch. Deonza Duncan has 2 interceptions. Jordan Robinette has a 17-yard run and a 23-yard touchdown run. So that'll sum it up at this moment.
They're spreading the wealth.
Yeah. I might have missed a snap or two there, but that justifies where we're at halftime. We're roughly hitting under a minute left until this second half kickoff, expecting a running clock. We want to thank Scott Dell, New Miami Hall of Famer, as well as Miami Valley Conference Sports Information Director Kevin Donnett, for joining us at the half. Just a lot of good insight. It's nice to hear some past talk about the present.
Well, New Miami is one of those towns, too. You go way back. I can remember my grandfather, Grandpa Neal, talking about old 1946 high school basketball. Fairfield and New Miami would have played each other back then, if you believe that. I mean, similar school sizes with how long ago that was for Fairfield. And he talked about coming up to New Miami, coming up to 7 Mile, which is very close to here. I think that was a separate high school back in those days, and playing in these gyms. I mean, the Fenmont would have been luxurious at the time. One of these big, huge spaces, you know. Now you go into it and you got these 5th graders trying to put their feet sideways out of bounds with a little bit of room they have against the wall to throw the ball in. But that was what they played in, and that was their nirvana. That was their huge, spacious areas there.
You're bringing it back a year or two, Joel. The Fenmont. I remember playing basketball there. Is the most echoiest place in Georgia.
Oh my goodness!
You could hear a basketball bounce from a mile.
Well, you got Grandpa Sackenheim telling stories. Well, Chris, we went up to 7 Mile and we played against them, and then we had to go to the boys' club.
Well, you're tuned into the live internet broadcast. New Miami is up on top of Miami Valley Christian Academy, 40-0 at the half. We just talked with Scott Dell, New Miami Hall of Famer, as well as Miami Valley Conference Sports Information Director Kevin Donnett. Want to thank Mills Diner, just located down the street in the heart of New Miami. They're a proud sponsor of New Miami Athletics. We also want to thank SuccessPhoto.com for being here today to capture some of the. It's not too bad of a mud fest. I expected a little more rain than this, but it is what it is. But we'd also like to thank Rick's Tavern, our gift certificate sponsor for our fan of the day, as well as Performance Toyota, our primary sponsor. We thank you for your generosity in terms of making this bad boy run. And we also want to thank Rick's Tavern, who is our gift certificate Performer of the Week sponsor as well. Well, Joel, Miami Valley Christian Academy is going to take the field. I think they're going to line up to return this kick.
Yes, it should be New Miami kicking off to begin the second half play here. You're going to have, obviously, the running clock, so we're going to run out of time very quickly. This is going to be probably your shortest broadcast of the year in terms of length.
Yep. Well, I was looking at, we're a minute 29, actually an hour and 27 minutes in on this broadcast, and if you're doing the math, Joe,
24 minutes of running clock time, plus anything to change quarters and whatever else. Be about a half an hour or so left.
Yep. Set to kick off for New Miami It's number
like it's
1.
M. Moffitt, the freshman.
Here we go, Joel.
Diaper dandy, as Dickie V would call it.
We've got to say, we've got Devin Smith out there. He's a sophomore. We've got Dylan Mills. He's a senior. Number 14, Cameron Melvin's out there. Number 47, James Hamrick. This is a special time for some of those Vikings, Joel. Kick off to number 22, Nick Beckham for the Lions. We're going to call a lot of the same names on the Lions.
When you only got 12 players, what else can you do? There's no backup for anything.
And it's a little bit of a miss, but it's a consistent miss.
It's steady.
Right.
It's steady coming down, keeping everything nice and wet.
Yep. It might be the most fall weather that it's felt like, and this is week 7.
Oh, sure. I mean, talk about you went to about global warming. I'll take my 95-degree day in October. It's not bad, but not tonight.
In the pistol formation is Will Cox, and handoff up the middle. And I'm thinking that's Ryan Conklin. He's been doing most of the running in the backfield for the Lions.
That's a pretty safe bet there, because who else are they going to put in?
Yep, no.
Josh Woods on the tackle there for the Vikings. We'll have some new names certainly for the new Miami defense here.
Sure. Josh Woods is a freshman. Pistol formation is Cox. Behind him is Conklin. Hand off to Conklin again. He's got himself some running room there, but New Miami's going to do the best they can with their second and third string.
Looks like it's their second unit that's out there on defense. Absolutely,
right.
Which is smart by Coach Hubbard. Give them all playing time. Let them all get into the game a little bit.
That pushes the chains. First down and 10 for the Lions at their own 30-yard line. I'm going to try and keep you up to date with all the action from around the county. Joel Sackenheim is updating his Twitter account.
Plenty of out-of-town scores to take a look at here, Chris, as we talk playoffs probably a little bit in the second half here.
Playoffs?
You kidding me?
Playoffs? Oh. Handoff up the middle to Conklin again. Going to get himself about 5 yards before he's corralled by a plethora of Vikings. In on the mix for that tackle was number 3, Danny Spivey. Number 1, M. Moffitt. Number 24, Dylan Mills. All kinds of action. Some of these kids are ecstatic to be out there to be playing some of this on the wet field here in New Miami.
Oh, my gosh.
One of the only grass fields left in Butler County.
It's got to be like going out as a little kid again, right?
Yep.
Getting all muddy and all messy and got to bring all that dirty laundry home to Mom and Dad.
Well,
Mom!
I was going to say, at the time, Mom and Dad might not care.
Get Peyton Manning for that Tide Sunday Night Football laundry night situation, right?
Conklin with about a 10-yard gain. That pushes the chains. First down the Lions at the 45-yard line of their own.
Well, Chris, you want to go talk playoffs a little bit? Where you want to go?
All right, so we already talked about New Miami. We kind of set the tone there. But if you want to kind of, for those tuning in to the Butler County High School Sports Report, go ahead and jump in. Kind of what you, I guess, narrate what you had talked about in the first half.
Well, sure. New Miami's going to have the inside track on the number 2 seed. If they win out, they should have a home game here at Mara Field with no doubt. They're not going to control their own destiny for the number 1 seed, even though they're on the number 1 line right now. Marion Local, because they've got a tougher schedule, is going to have the inside track on the number 1 seed. If New Miami wants the 1 seed, it's probably going to take winning out and having Marion Local lose one of the remaining 4 games, and the one to keep an eye on is Week 10. That's when they play Coldwater. Coldwater is 6-0 right now, and they're up by 30 over Delta St. John's right now as we speak. That game will probably be for the Midwestern Athletic Conference Championship, as well as the number 1 seed in Division 7, Region 28 for the Flyers. Marion Local's been to the state championship game 8 years in a row. Between Division 6 and Division 7, they keep bouncing back and forth. It's to New Miami's misfortune that they're in Division 7 this year.
Right. Well, Joel, and if I'm a New Miami villager, I want to know why the heck New Miami won't be the number 1 seed if they're winning out.
Well, it's because of the schedule, the second-level points. You get second-level points for every team you beat and how many wins that they have. So tonight, Miami Valley Christian Academy is not going to give them any second-level points at all. North College Hill is worth 15.5. CCD in week 9 is worth 7.5. And week 10, Lockland is worth 12, and Coldwater to Marion Local is worth 26.5. So it's not about what your final record is so much as about the quality of the teams that you beat that will determine your seed by how many second-level points you get. Marion Local has a much tougher conference in the Midwest Athletic Conference.
Right, okay, well that's a perfect assumption, or I guess a justification in terms of why New Miami may not get that number 1 seed even if they would win out.
And Marion Local will have a final record of 9-1. New Miami will have a final record of 9-0 if they both win out.
Right.
9-0 because the Landmark Christian game does not count in the standings. We got an interception here for New Miami.
Let's try and catch a number here, Joel, and he's got to hold on to the ball.
32, he's stripped!
32 stripped, intercepts the ball. I'm trying to pinpoint who that was. That was number
Josiah Matthews with the interception and then stripped by Bryce Martinelli. As he's returning it, he just went right behind him, reached out to even try to tackle him, grabbed the ball, ripped it right back out. That's a double turnover, change of possession, ball back to the hands of Miami Valley Christian Academy with a 1st and 10, new set of downs for the Lions.
Right. Well, Joe, I'm thinking, gosh, Bryce has that opportunity. He's like, I'm gonna make this bad boy go to the house, make a play. Went from hero to doggone it.
Well, you're still playing defense, right?
right.
Works like a really short punt.
Right. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network. We are high atop John Mara Field here in the village of New Miami, whereas New Miami up on top of Miami Valley Christian Academy, 40-0. Handoff up the middle goes to Conklin again. Conklin's been churning most of the yards that the Lions have been getting in this contest when they're able to get yards. So
it's been basically a lot of runs up the middle. They've had very little success in the passing game. There might be the spread formation, but it's basically kind of occupying 4 defenders and then trying to run against the 7-man box is what they're trying to do here.
That run of 10 yards pushes the ball to the 40-yard line of New Miami after an exchange of possession in one play.
In one play, that's right.
Two exchange of possessions in one play.
Double turnover. Gotta love it.
So I'm looking at this Baden CJ game.
Okay.
So we're sitting at 17-3 at the half. CJ.
Okay.
Right. What does Baden need to do to get to where they want to get in the Division III?
Okay. Tonight, if they can come back and beat CJ, they're down by 14.5. Tonight is Baden's biggest point opponent on their schedule. CJ is worth 28 second-level points to Baden if they can win that game tonight. If Baden could win out, they're going to be either the 1 or the 2 line most likely with Wapakoneta, and Steve Shuck has got Franklin up there in that mix. We'll see what happens there. If Baden were to lose tonight, it's really an opportunity loss. A loss is a loss. It doesn't matter how good or how bad of a team you lose to. It affects you mathematically the exact same. But it's an opportunity that they won't get back. They'll have Fenwick, Carroll, and McNicholas the last 3 weeks. A home game will still be possible, but it'll be a lot harder. Tonight, Baden, if they lose, is going to be dropped into a cesspool of teams. Baden, St. Mary's Memorial, Franklin, Ross, Trotwood Madison, and Hughes will all be there jumbled up between 3 and 8, and we'll see how they shake out depending on the teams they beat and if they can provide wins for them and give them extra points in there. But anywhere between 3 and 8 tonight, and it'll be a dogfight going down the stretch for Baden if they should lose and slip up to CJ tonight.
Any effect on Ross in terand of, because Baden and Ross played,
and Ross beat
is
them.
in there as well, right?
But Ross is not going to be disappointed if CJ can win tonight. Right. Okay, as we have a first down as Miami Valley Christian Academy is moving it almost to the red zone here. Here's the thing. If Baden were to beat CJ, it will give Ross 5.5 points, but it'll give Baden 28 points. So it's going to propel them much farther away from Ross in the standings. A loss will nip Ross just a hair. It's not going to give them the points they could have gotten, but it's going to bring Baden back into the pack and back into their level there. And if Ross can beat Northwest, it's very possible Ross might actually be ahead of Baden at night's end.
Right. So, Miami Valley Christian Academy moving out of their typical offensive formation there.
A little more power formation, aren't they?
Yeah, it was a power I formation there.
Take it under center.
Number 75 lost his helmet. That was Caleb Geiger for Miami Valley Christian Academy. And they're all going to hop off the field. Timeout, New Miami Valley Christian Academy. Joel, we're going to take a break. We're going to say hey to our sponsors here in this third quarter. 40-0, New Miami. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
We'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsors. Performance Soda, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4 at Performance Soda. Our proud Performer of the Week sponsor. Matandy Steel and Metal Products, an official sponsor of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, who is partnered up as our Performer of the Week gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, providing professional images for your local high school athletes. SuccessPhoto.com.
Hey, this is New Miami's Trey Robinette, and you're listening to Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Welcome back to John Mara Field here in the village of New Miami, where Miami Valley Christian Academy is trying to get a little bit of momentum here in this lopsided contest. The Lions have the ball. I believe that's around, it's deceiving, Joel, over here. You're looking at a little bit of a shadow action on across the field there where the yard markers are.
But the diagonal, and now you got the shadow from the light post coming down.
We'll call that the 20-yard line.
It's kind of hard to see, isn't it?
So
you almost have to look at the sticks there and see where the yard marker is compared to the chains. Looks like about the 21 or so. Interesting, you have the helmet stoppage there for Caleb Geiger, and that's supposed to have you come out for a play.
He is coming out, Joel.
How do you do that when you only have 12 players?
Right.
Bring in your only player that's sitting out there, and I guess sit out for a play. I mean, that really limits what you can do. Do you have a really tiny guy playing on the offensive line this play?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They only have 10 people out there, Joel.
They have to have 11.
10. They only have 10, Joel.
3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm only counting 10.
So I guess they're just going to.
This has got to be an illegal formation, right?
Oh, I'm thinking of calling it illegal formation. The play is not going to. Illegal formation.
Dead ball, illegal formation on the offense.
That's right. So
you got to have 11 on the field, so out comes 75, Geiger. Now it'll bring their 11th guy. This is something you don't see at the upper levels of bigger schools.
So Joel, here's the thing here. Miami Valley Christian Academy is playing with 11 players.
Wow. I guess they must have had one guy that's not suiting up for the second half. That's rough. That's rough. Helmet comes off. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty on the next snap.
Regardless. Goodness. Fake handoff. Cox over to the left side. A nice toss down the left sideline. I was trying to read some of those numbers. It might have been, is that 22? 22, Nick Beckham on that catch. That was sophomore. That's going to be about, I'd say, we'll call that a 10-yard gain, Joel. It's going to be 3rd and 5.
Gets back the penalty yards. Here's the interesting thing here. Miami Valley Christian Academy, you can play with 10 on defense. You can't play with 10 on offense.
Right.
With the illegal formation penalty. They can't have anybody get hurt the rest of the night.
Right.
That's rough.
Yep. Just reaching the 1-minute mark of this third quarter. New Miami up on top of Miami Valley Christian Academy, 40-0. The water is starting to get to that hand. The ball.
It's shotgun snap, skewing away like a slip and slide.
They're going to call that play dead. And that's going to bring the ball back to the 25-yard line where it's going to be 4th and 12 for the Lions.
My goodness. Might as well go for it, right, Chris?
Yep.
I mean, they got the field position. You're across midfield. And this might be the last play of the quarter if they don't stop the clock for the change of possession. We'll see how they do that with the running clock.
Under the half-minute mark here. Cox in the pistol formation and Conklin directly behind him and maybe to the right of him. The deceiving John Mara Field here. Conklin tosses it deep, and I don't know if there's a wide receiver that was looking for that play, and that's going to fall incomplete in the end zone.
Call Bryce Martinelli the eligible intended receiver, but it wasn't all that close to him.
Right. Joe, anything going on the Twitter world right now?
End of the third quarter. Here's a head turner. Coleraine leads Hamilton 10-3.
Wow.
Big Blue are putting up a fight against the Coleraine Cardinals. Could be a very good night for Big Blue if they can find a way to pull it off. And we had mentioned, I'd written in the article about how Ross and Baden were going to keep an eye on Hughes tonight. Taft is leading the Hughes Big Red 26-6 at the end of the third. That's very good news in Division III for both Baden and Ross.
I think New Miami's trying to get this play off before the end of the third quarter, and it's
they
not
won't.
going to. No, looking to get a little bit of a quick play in there, and unfortunately that was not going to be able to happen. So we're going to push this to the fourth quarter, 40-0, New Miami over Miami Valley Christian Academy. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
We'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsors. Performance Soda, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4 at Performance Soda. Our proud Performer of the Week sponsor. Matandy Steel and Metal Products, an official sponsor of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, who is partnered up as our Performer of the Week gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, providing professional images for your local high school athletes. SuccessPhoto.com.
Hey, this is New Miami's Austin Hart, and you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Village. I'm Chris Vogt alongside Joel Sackenheim. We're the Fighting Jesse Hubbards are up on top, 40-0 on Miami Valley Christian Academy. We'll get you as many updates and scores as we can regarding action around the Butler County scheme of things. Looks like it's 24-13. Fairfield on top of Princeton. Keeping an eye on that game and that close Hamilton-Colerain game as well, Joel.
Well, 25.5 second level points for Fairfield. If they beat Princeton tonight, that'll keep them ahead of St. Xavier most likely.
Donovan Howard takes an errant handoff, hits the ground, picks it back up, and tries to get him a little something, but I guess we will call that a 3-yard game, Joel.
Gets a little bit there.
Yep. Bringing that second down and about 7 or 8 at the 25-yard line. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network's version of Miami Valley Christian Academy at New Miami. We'll talk with Coach Hubbard and a couple players afterwards. Not sure if we'll be able to get them on the interwebs, but needless to say, we'll have a full report after this contest.
Invite them up here to the press box.
We'll see what we can do.
That'd be one way to do it.
I think I want to get DeAndre Duncan up here. DeAndre Duncan
He's had a nice game.
Monster game.
He really has had a nice game.
Trey Robinette, want to congratulate him. He won the Performer of the Week poll last week. The New Miami contingent voted him top performer. So we want to thank you all for participating in our poll.
We have a timeout taken by the Vikings here.
Broadcast is brought to you by Mel's Diner, the official sponsor of New Miami High School Athletics. Mel's Diner is located in the heart of the Village. Oh.
Yeah. Well, Chris, right now looking at Fairfield, it's probably going to take winning all 4 games to get them the number 1 seed.
Okay, yeah, and I was going to actually tell you to transition into
kind of go into some of these playoff talks and scenarios. Fairfield's Week 10 game is going to be against Colerain, and if Colerain beats Hamilton, wins against Mason Dakota East, Colerain will be worth 52 second-level points in Week 10 for Fairfield. That's going to be the big juggernaut if Fairfield's going to be able to stave off St. X, and they're going to need every point they can get to stave off St. X, because St. X will continue to have chances to win and get wins from Brownsburg, Indiana, Penn, Indiana, Indianapolis Cathedral. They play Louisville St. X in Week 10. That could be worth a nice slew of points there for the Bombers.
A short gain up the middle is New Miami, and that's going to bring it fourth down and short situation. We'll call that 4th and 3, maybe 2.5 at the 32-yard line. You know, this is going to be a good opportunity for the younger players for New Miami to be in a situation, on the 4th down situation. Let's see what they do right here.
At 4th and 2, they have a chance to execute, move the chains. It looks like they got 1 wide receiver to the formation and a bunch of big bodies.
If you get a push there, the difference between a first down and a stop. And Miami Valley Christian Academy stuffs it, and they're going to take over. in decent field position, Joel.
That would qualify as a stop. No doubt about it. Lions break through the line. Runner couldn't get through. 1st and 10, Lions. And they're about at the 32-yard line, it looks like, of New Miami. Clock is stopped on the change of possession at 9:46 remaining here in the fourth quarter. We had mentioned how Hamilton, actually Colerain just scored against Hamilton, so it's 17-3 now, Colerain. Hamilton would have had a shot to be able to get into the top 6 or so had they won that game tonight, but now it's looking a lot harder. Fenwick leads Alter 20-7, so maybe Baden's win over Alter says more about Alter than it does about Baden.
Right.
Fairfield leads Princeton 30-13 right now. That's very good for the Fairfield faithful. As MVCA marches the ball into the red zone.
Another first down, Joel.
Is this the first time they've actually been in the red zone today? They've been at the 21 a couple times.
Yep. All 11 players from Miami Valley Christian Academy on the field.
In the game right now. I don't see anybody. No, there's one guy, it looks like, on the sideline who's all by himself. Looks like the kid that got ditched by his homecoming date.
Conklin runs up the middle, running over some New Miami Vikings. Eager to get into that end zone. However,
first and goal.
Yep, inside the 5. I think that we're going to call that maybe first and goal at the 4, maybe 5-yard line, Joel. Knocking on the door.
The shutout's going to end very soon here, quite possibly. At least the Lions are hoping. Again, they got their first team, everything on the field because there is no second team.
It won't take away the running clock, so that'll still continue to go.
That is correct. 30-point margin in Ohio. I think it's 35 in Florida, in case anybody cares.
I did not know that.
There you go.
Cox under center, hand off to Conklin up the middle, and a robust defensive line by New Miami on their second string.
Going to get about halfway toward the goal line, but he's not going to be able to punch it over. It'll be second and goal as they move that ball down to about the 1-yard line for the Lions.
I think if you're Cox, you're just going to say, I'm going to take this ball and just plunge it up the middle and see what happens there, right?
That's it. Quarterback sneak.
Yep.
That's your Uncle Danny Vogt's favorite play. Quarterback sneak right up the gut.
If it
under
works.
Center. If it works. If it doesn't work, it's a terrible idea, right?
Looks like Cox is going to hand off to Conklin again. Everybody's pushing this or that way.
He did not get in.
And it was that way.
It was that way.
And when I say that way, New Miami won the tug-of-war battle there at the line.
That is correct. You might even run a spread formation here and then punch it in with a quarterback sneak. Get a couple of his defenders having to guard those wide receivers out on the perimeter there and open up the box a little bit.
7 minutes to remain in this final quarter. 40-0 New Miami. If you've just tuned in, you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network. I'm Chris Vogt alongside Joel Sackenheim. We're going to get to more playoff scenarios and situations of your favorite Butler County program, and that was a muff play, and that was thanks to
Troy Rearick, the freshman defensive lineman, gets himself a sack there on 3rd and goal from the 1, pushes him back about 3 yards. It'll be 4th and goal from the 4 here as the second team New Miami defense trying to preserve the shutouts.
And if you're New Miami, you got the second team out there. I mean, that's probably one of your goals right now. You know,
that's exactly right.
No points.
You can't go out there and expect your second team just to go ahead and stop playing. You got to play hard. Make them earn it.
Yep.
And then if they earn it, you tip your cap and say congratulations. So we'll see what happens here.
Call this about 4 and about 6 here.
Oh, boy.
Muff snap. Picked back up by Miami Valley Christian Academy by number 5, Tucker Allen, and nothing going there. And New Miami stops him inside their 10-yard line, and taking over is the Vikings.
That play had no chance. Fumbled, snapped, kicked out back behind. Quarterback couldn't pick it up. It was a wide back coming around that scooped the ball up for Miami Valley Christian Academy, and New Miami had about 7 guys there ready to stop him. They had no prayer.
Well, it helped New Miami's defense that from the start, Miami Valley just basically said, come on in.
That's it. That offensive line has got to be tired. They played every single play of this game.
Yep.
Every play.
Hats off to them, though. Hats off to them.
They're playing their hearts out.
Yep.
I mean, what do you do when you only have 12 players show up for a game?
Right.
Difficult. Look at a St. X game or a Fairfield game, and all these guys sitting down, sucking down water when the offense goes off the field or the defense goes off the field. And these guys have to be out there without television timeouts, mind you.
Yep.
Every single play, all the way through, and can't get hurt.
Right.
They're not allowed to get hurt.
Hats off to Garrett Peters, head coach, Miami Valley Christian Academy. We're working with what he's got, you know.
That's right.
And kudos to those kids out there.
Well, we've seen Riverview East Academy have to cancel their game the last 2 weeks because of numbers, and Miami Valley Christian Academy is not doing that. They're showing up and they're playing.
Is that at Fenwick right there you're looking at? I'm trying to see if they have a field term for grass.
They got grass. They got grass. They do have grass at Fenwick, yes. And Carroll should as well.
We get to see Madison at Monroe in 2 weeks, and that's going to be played at Monroe, so we don't get to see
the Hornets nest.
Another grassy
The beautifully turfed Hornets nest.
Yes,
that's right.
You're right.
They didn't make it out of beeswax. They made it out of rubber pellets.
Not as sweet. Right.
Not as sweet.
Not
That's
as
right.
sweet.
That's right. 4:26 left and counting on the running clock.
Yeah, toss left to number 12. And that's Donovan Howard to the left side, trying to get some running room around the cornerback on the left side of the field, and he's only going to get himself about a 4 there, Joel.
Yep, 3rd and about 5 coming up. Trying to see if I can get you a Marion Local for sales score before we go off the air here, because that'll be one of interest to the new Miami fans, of course. Looks like, as of an hour ago, it was Marion Local leading Versailles 28-7. You waving at AJ down there?
No, I was waving to Austin Hart. I want to thank Austin Hart and Trey Robinette for sending in some sound bites for us to use for our intro. So that was pretty cool.
Here you go, even more updated score at halftime. It was Marion Local 38 and Versailles 7. So,
right, okay.
Unless about 8 games go New Miami's way, expect to see Marion Local at 1
to jump tonight.
Gotcha.
So New Miami contingent, you can still get that home playoff game at this point from the SAC reports.
It's not just me, it's math.
Oh no, it's a SAC report.
The math is still the math. Whether I do it, Idle does it, or Shuck does it, it's still the math. 1 + 3 still equals 4. A punt for New Miami, first time tonight.
Back to return is Tucker Allen. And Conklin, Tucker Allen's got some running room to the left side. Gets across the 50-yard line, and there's some hard hits. Yeah, there's number 9, Will Cox dropped a hit on number 30. Yeah, that was Devin Smith. I don't think Devin Smith was ready for that hit. And
it was late and it was blindsided.
I don't know if it was deemed necessary.
Well, Chris, here's how you know you're calling a Division VII football game. When your starting quarterback is getting penalized for laying out a blindside block in an open field special teams play.
Yep.
Tell me the last time that's happened in an Elder game.
Probably never. So Devin Smith is on the sidelines. Hope he is okay. Not sure if that hit was warranted. From here, it didn't look like it was necessary. The ball was already past that point.
Oh, it was already dead at that point in time. Yep.
Play was over.
Play was over.
And quite frankly, I'm really surprised that there wasn't enough huff and puff regarding that hit at the end there, Joel.
Well,
so kudos to New Miami
they kept their cool. It was late. I don't think it was egregiously late. It was late, and it should be flagged 15 yards, and it is going to be flagged 15 yards. Whoever mentioned the idea of kicking him out of the game, they need 11 players. You got to have 10. You got to have 11, right?
Right.
That's kind of rough there.
Well, I don't know. We're discussing some items over here, and I think they're going to place the ball 15 yards from the spot.
Right. Targeting maybe, yeah.
Yep.
Might be a head-to-head hit there.
He's ejected. He's ejected.
So what's going to happen here with an ejection? Looks like they're going to talk with Miami Valley Christian Academy's coach. The head coach is pulling back the assistant, who's furious right now. Can they put 11 guys on the field?
I'm not for certain.
They had 12 suited up, and one was sitting out there injured. He's number 6 over there. You can see him with the pads on, but he's not been in the game the entire second half. I don't know if you can eject a player in a game where you have 11 players on the field.
Well, I guess if it would be warranted, Joel, then this game would probably have to be
Would they just forfeit it with 2:22 left to go on the clock? This is an interesting situation here that you don't run into very often. They're calling Cox off the field. Cox asked the referees, and he gave a little wristband there to number 2, Ryan Conklin.
Ryan Conklin's going to take over the quarterback duties there.
Let's see if they can line up correctly with only 10 guys on the field. That's going to end the game, it looks like. Let's see. They just sent a whole bunch of people on for New Miami. There's a bunch of cheering going on.
That's not New Miami. That's the entire starting lineup for New Miami.
Okay. Let's see what we got here.
That's the entire starting lineup of New Miami back on the field.
Back on the field?
Yes.
That's interesting. Let's see. We got a 5-man offensive line, 1 receiver, 1 tight end, 2 running backs, and a quarterback.
Conklin's got the snap, and I don't know if much is going to happen here, Joel.
Elisha Faulkner with the tackle there. Whistle blowing and a timeout, MVCA. With 1:42 left, the clock will stop.
Yeah, Joel, I don't know if there's any justification as to why Hubbard put those players back on the field, but it might have something to do with the
late hit targeting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know if that's wise to put your own guys in harm's way in a 40-0 game to do that or not, but certainly a point must be made, I guess. They just got to get this thing finished.
Well, from Tom Snape, 11 minutes ago, Talawanda 16, Mount Healthy 6.
Talawanda needs that game. Badly they need that game.
Talk about Talawanda. We weren't able to get to them too much, and this is Division 2, right?
Division 2, and the division is loaded. Talawanda's going to need to win their last 4 games. They're just going to need to.
Right.
Edgewood next week, Northwest the week after are not going to give them a lot of points. So the Ross game is going to be their big one that they need in Week 10, and Ross going to need it also. Oh, boy.
Get up. That's a recovery.
Bad snap. Donovan Howard recovers it for New Miami.
Okay, hold on. There's some action going on here.
A little extracurricular stuff.
Yep, everybody's trying to hold back everybody.
These guys need to be separated a little bit.
Yeah, we are going to take a timeout here. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Report's YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports, results, stories, and student-athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Hey, this is New Miami's Austin Hart, and you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
All right, Joel. Well, we're looking at final. I believe the referees are going to call this bad boy a little skirmish on the field. Had to separate some players, and the rain's coming down. It's sort of a telltale sign.
Yeah, you had a slew of things converge there. MVCA having to play offensively with 10 players. Bad snap recovered by the starting defense of New Miami. They got the starters back on the field because they're mad about the targeting penalty on Cox there of Miami Valley Christian Academy. The recovery gets made. A little skirmish happens afterwards. The rain comes in a torrential downpour. They're going to be kneeling the ball anyway with 1:29 left to go. So they're just going to go ahead and call it at this point in time with 1:29 left to go in the game. 40-0 the final score. New Miami is going to go to 6-0 officially, 7-0 if you include the landmark game on the season.
Well, they are going to line up and shake each other's hands, so hopefully this is a respectable shake of
a little bit of sportsmanship to finish. And it's been a pretty good sportsmanlike game most of the game until the last few plays.
Yeah.
That's where it kind of got out of control. Peppers got a little bad.
Unfortunately, I'd like to thank you very much. Appreciate it, Mr. Krause. Well, I'd like to say actually that it probably all started with the late hit, Joel.
The targeting.
Targeting.
There was really no evidence of anything going on until that happened.
Right. Well, we are going to call our quits here, as we just did here at John Merrifield. New Miami defeats Miami Valley Christian Academy 49. We want to thank you for tuning in to Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network. Joel, I get to send you off into the netherworld.
WMH land, right?
WMH land. They can have you back. We will be covering Middletown and Hamilton at Middletown. Again,
the Butler Bowl.
Yeah, the Butler Bowl. You're correct. We'll have Jacob Bingham calling the shots alongside myself. So at the final, New Miami 40, Miami Valley Christian Academy, nothing.